welcome to Full Frontal. I'm Samantha B. Book bans have increased dramatically since last fall, and make no mistake, these bans are censorship, especially the ban on my new short-form memoir, Being Inside Me. Get your mind into the gutter. Of course it's about being inside my vagina. Sadly, hundreds of books are being challenged in school districts across the country.
The American Library Association says book challenges are up about 60% this year, and one school board member in Spotsylvania County, Virginia, took it a step further.
I think those books, I don't want to even see them. I think they should be thrown in a fire.
That is crazy irresponsible. Everyone knows you compost the books you hate. Just this fall, the American Library Association received an unprecedented 330 reports of book challenges. Right-wing activists are making a concerted effort to purge schools of books written by people of color and LGBTQ authors.
Over this past year, we've seen parents, politicians, school board members target books specifically by LGBTQ authors, by authors of color. I think the real issue here is that many of these parents don't want their students learning about race, learning about racism, learning about people who identify as trans or gay or some other marginalized group.
These book bans stem from conservatives' campaign against critical race theory, an academic concept to explore the role of racism in society. But conservatives are using the term as a scare tactic to prevent their kids from learning anything about race.
Critical race theory, as you mentioned, it is something that's taught usually in law schools. It's not taught in K through 12 schools.
The right's real aims have become clear as they have broadened their attacks to any historical topic that makes them feel threatened. These antics have resulted in the banning of books like Beloved, The Bluest Eye, To Kill a Mockingbird.
Basically, they're banning any book that even mentions race, which explains libraries removing the tortoise and the hare. Banning books from public libraries for nationalistic, political, or religious reasons violates the First Amendment. So instead, parents are trying to ban books by making it seem like they're pornography. Parents comb through books that don't center straight white perspectives, find the most explicit passages, and recite them out of context.
I cannot even imagine how I would feel if my child came home with this type of book. We cannot unread this type of content.
Imagine your 11-year-old child or grandchild reading this. I like to put on a show, so not only do you have to be hung, talented, long-lasting, multiple-comer, but you have to be okay effing a sexy 18-year-old.
And I did my best to act dominant like my favorite porn star. His body felt great in my mouth. This is from the book All Boys Aren't Blue. Why won't you admit we sucked each other's dicks? We shared a Hershey's bar, then you showed me your dick. I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth. I'm going to give you the blowjob of your life.
Not in my league at all, but he had a big dick, and sometimes a girl just needs a big dick.
She did your homework and you ate her coochie?
It is obscene to teach children how to masturbate and which objects young girls should use to masturbate with.
I guess we live in a world now that our public schools would rather have kids read about gay pornography than Christ.
I do not want my children to learn about anal sex in middle school. I have never had anal sex. I don't want to have anal sex. I don't want my kids having anal sex.
Nobody, and I mean nobody, has had more anal sex than that lady. For people who don't want their kids to read porn, they are turning school board meetings into real fests. Not any fest I'd want to attend, mind you. The last one I hit was Fest 99. Limp Bizkit ruined that one too. Of course, when we're talking about battles in the culture wars, everything is bigger in Texas.
Republican Governor Greg Abbott took things a step further, ordering officials to investigate any criminal activity in public schools after complaints about 2 LGBTQ-themed books he said were pornographic. In October, Republican state legislator Matt Krause requested every school district in the state scour their libraries for a list of 850 books. The list includes New Kid, a graphic novel about a black student's struggles fitting in at a majority white school. The letter Q, queer writers' notes to their younger selves. and The Cider House Rules, a coming-of-age story that features a character who performs abortions.
Wait, that's what The Cider House Rules is about? Oh my God, I've been lying to people for years about seeing it. I told Tobey Maguire how much I loved his Apple movie. The majority of the books on the Texas list target LGBTQ issues, and school districts have pulled hundreds of books for a review. Similarly, the governor of South Carolina called for an investigation into the presence of obscene and pornographic materials in public schools, and one Mississippi mayor recently withheld funding from a library system until books with LGBTQ themes were removed. He also made them pull any books that mention toilet seats because that's what his wife keeps telling him got her pregnant. Meanwhile, in Tennessee, a school board has come under fire for banning a Pulitzer Prize-winning graphic novel about the Holocaust from being taught.
A Tennessee school board has banned the critically acclaimed graphic novel Mouse. It is a true story about the horrors of the Holocaust by Art Spiegelman, and it depicts Jews as mice and Nazis as cats.
Their specific complaint was naughty language and nudity.
What do you worry is on the horizon if there is a part of this country that cannot be learning about the Holocaust in the way it happened?
Well, I think it's already started happening. Like I said, the dog whistles abound.
There's no gentle way to teach the Holocaust. Conservatives banned Mouse because it has the words goddamn and bitch in it, as well as nudity. Folks, if swearing and nudity are the worst parts of the Holocaust for you, shit, I don't know, we're f***ed. But there is some good news here. The controversy surrounding Mouse has put it back on bestseller lists. And elsewhere in the country, students are protesting book bans. After parents in Pennsylvania pushed one school board to ban a list of books by or about people of color, the students fought back.
In all, dozens of books were on the list, including ones written by a Nobel Prize winner, a Supreme Court justice, several celebrated children's authors, even a coloring book.
We knew that it wasn't right, so we came together as a group and we started protesting.
The school board backed down. The books were allowed to remain, a life lesson for the young changemakers.
It's inspiring to see children making a real difference, especially when they were collectively born to people like this.
Take her out back, we boys figured. Put it in her cornhole. All right, not gonna lie, I had to Google cornhole because I have the game in the back of my yard. But according to Wikipedia, cornhole is a sexualist slang vulgarism for anus. This verb form to cornhole means to have anal sex.
She didn't have to Google cornhole. Cornhole Googled her. But it was all worth it for the algorithm to think she loves it now. With all of these parents yelling about anal, critical race theory, and critical anal theory, it's easy to forget that this whole issue is really about education.
Do you think the adults that banned these books have read these books?
Absolutely not.
Oh,
Nope.
definitely not.
Absolutely not.
Iris Chang remembers the first time she saw herself in a book. It was The Joy Luck Club by Amy Tan.
So it was really compelling to see this accurate portrayal of what my culture looks like and what I, as a person, represent. I think students of color and queer students are especially taking this hard.
I want to learn genuine history. I don't want to learn a whitewashed version. I want to hear all of it. I don't want everyone to be worried about how we feel because no one was worried about how BIPOC members of the community felt.
Banning books denies students the imperative to think critically about the past and their own roles and responsibilities in the present. Preventing kids from learning about uncomfortable history and other people's perspectives doesn't protect them. It just turns them into assholes who go to school board meetings to talk about assholes. We'll be right back. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to hear more from Full Frontal, like and subscribe. If you'd like to hear some opinions from a man in a lifted truck, leave YouTube on autoplay.